Hello ladies and gentlemen, in this video we are going to cover the current affairs of entire month of February. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app, and for regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Now let's start. Samprati is a joint military training exercise between India and which country? So it is a joint military exercise between India and Bangladesh, and the 9th edition of Samprati will be in Meghalaya. Last edition, that means the 8th edition, held in Bangladesh, and this edition is going to be in India in Meghalaya. Now Bangladesh was also in news as it is the top country in Global Gender Gap Index in South Asia. India recently observed Martyrs' Day on 30th of January to pay homage to which Indian leader? So, Martyrs' Day is observed on 30th of January to pay homage to the death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi ji. Which Indian journalist has been selected as the recipient of 2019-20 PEN Gauri Lankesh Award? So, this award is given to the individual or organization which works in the field of journalism and shows tremendous courage and democratic journalism. And this time, Mr. Yusuf Jamil was selected for this award. As per the recent Economic Outlook survey released by FICCI, that is FICCI, what is the estimated GDP growth forecast for 2019-20? So the estimated annual GDP growth forecast for 2019-20 is 5%. As per the Economic Outlook survey released by FICCI, that is Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Who has been appointed as the new chairman of Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs recently? So recently Mr. M. Ajit Kumar was appointed as the new chairman of CBIC, and this appointment was confirmed by ACC, that is Appointment Committee of Cabinet. The previous chairman of CBIC was Mr. Pranab Kumar Das. Ajmal Sultanpuri, who passed away recently, was the renowned poet in which language? Right answer is Urdu. So he was well-known Urdu poet, and recently he passed away. The Department of Telecom, India, has recently taken over the process to issue and manage the allocation of IMEI. Now the question is, what is the full form of IMEI? So IMEI stands for International Mobile Equipment Identity, and it is a 15-digit serial number. Khadi wristwatches have been recently launched by the KVIC, that is Khadi and Village Industries Commission, in association with which company? So recently, Union Minister Mr. Nitin Gadkari launched Khadi wristwatches, and these watches have been manufactured by a joint initiative of KVIC and Titan. Who has been appointed as next Ambassador of India to Nepal? So Mr. Vinay Mohan has been appointed as India's next Ambassador to Nepal. Previously, India's Ambassador to Nepal was Mr. Manjeev Singh Puri, and now Mr. Vinay Mohan is going to take his place. Mr. Vinay Mohan is currently serving as the India's Ambassador to France. Which Indian think tank has been ranked among top 30 think tanks globally as per the recent report? So recently, Global Go to Think Tank Index report was released, and as per this index, ORF, that is Observer Research Foundation, has been placed among the top 30 think tanks globally at 27th rank. Which global technology company recently announced $1 million grant to promote news literacy in our country? So this announcement was made by Google. So recently Google announced this 1 million grant for a non-profit news literacy organization named Intern News. And as a part of this initiative, workshops will be organized in the Indian cities to inculcate news literacy and to counter the fake news. Which state has recently banned all type of online lottery schemes in the state? So this decision was taken by the state government of Punjab to ban all types of online lottery schemes. Punjab was also in news as recently Punjab passed resolution against CAA, that is Citizenship Amendment Act. Matthew Satyababu, who recently passed away, was associated with sports. So he was associated to basketball and he was captain of basketball team. Recently he passed away in Chennai. Which Indian sports person recently became the first ever hockey player to win the World Games Athlete of the Year award? So she is Miss Rani Rampal and she became the first ever hockey player to win World Games Athlete of the Year award. India's first fruit train for export was flagged off recently in which state? So recently the first of its kind fruit train of the country was recently flagged off from Andhra Pradesh, and this train will deliver content to Jawaharlal Nehru Port in Mumbai. So from Andhra Pradesh to Mumbai, this will deliver content and from there this will be exported to Iran. So this was India's first fruit train for the export. That means the train will transport the fruit content from Andhra Pradesh to Maharashtra and from there it will be exported to Iran. Christine Sinclair, who recently became the world's all-time leading goal scorer in football, belongs to which country? So she is the footballer of Canada and she is the captain of Canada national team. She recently created a record of becoming the world's all-time international leading goal scorer. Which global firm has recently developed a new artificial intelligence model to protect the endangered whale species? So this has been developed by Google to protect the whale species. So this artificial intelligence model uses underwater audio to listen to the sounds of whale and therefore it can display the location of whales. What is the estimated GDP growth rate of India according to the latest economic survey in the next fiscal year? So the estimated GDP growth is 6 to 6.5%. Recently, economic survey was presented by CEA, that is Chief Economic Advisor, Mr. Krishnamurthy Subramanian, and it was tabled in the Parliament by the Union Finance Minister, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman. What is the GDP growth rate of India in 2018-19 as per the recent statement from NSO on 31st of January? So NSO stands for National Statistical Office, and as per the report, it fixed the actual growth at 6.1% for 2018-19. The previous estimation was 6.8%. This estimation was done in May 2019, but now as per the final report, the growth is 6.1%. And as per NSO, this downgrade in growth is because of the poor performance in farming and mining sector as well as in manufacturing sector. Which global tech firm has launched a short video making application called Tangi, which focuses on creativity? So Google launched this short video making application and the name of this application is Tangi, and it is similar to TikTok. According to the recent economic survey 2019-20, which state has the cheapest vegetarian thali, that is food plate? So recently, the Chief Economic Advisor Mr. Krishnamurthy Subramanian presented the economic survey. As per the recent economic survey, what is the rank of India globally in terms of number of new firms created? So as per economic survey, India is on third position in terms of new firms created, and the survey quoted this data from World Bank's data on entrepreneurship. Which Indian American has been appointed as the new chairman of tech company IBM, that is International Business Machine Corporation? So Mr. Arvind Krishna has been appointed as the new chairman of IBM. He is currently serving as the head of cloud and cognitive software unit of IBM, and he is going to replace long-time female CEO of IBM, Virginia Rometty, as company's executive chairman. on which date the Anti-Leprosy Day for the year 2020 was observed across the world. So it was observed on 26th of January this year. Actually, this is observed annually on the last Sunday of January. And this year, WHO, that is World Health Organization, adopted the theme, and it is Leprosy Isn't What You Think. The European Union has how many countries after the exit of UK? So UK officially left European Union on 31st of January. Now European Union has 27 countries. So now UK is in transition period, and it will remain in this transition period till 31st of December 2020. The India International Leather Fair 2020 held in which city? So this fair held in Tamil Nadu in Chennai, and this fair was organized by ITPO, that is India Trade Promotion Organization, and it functions under Commerce Ministry. Abid Ali Nimuchwala, who resigned recently, was the chief executive officer of which popular Indian firm? So he was the CEO of Wipro, and recently he resigned. It should be noted that he will continue to serve until a proper successor is appointed by the company. The 250th flight operation under RCS Udan scheme was recently commenced between Bhubaneswar and which Indian city? So it was between Bhubaneswar and Varanasi, and this flight was started under RCS Udan, that is Regional Connectivity Scheme Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. Veteran diplomat Mr. Ajay Bisaria was recently appointed as the next Indian High Commissioner to which country? So he has been appointed as Indian High Commissioner to Canada. Prior to this assignment, he was serving as India's High Commissioner to Pakistan. Which Indian was presented the Ayurveda Ratan Award at All Party Parliament Group on Traditional Medicines at the European Parliament in Brussels? So recently, Mr. Pratap Chauhan was conferred the Ayurveda Ratna Award. The historic infrared space telescope called Spitzer Space Telescope was associated to which space agency? Actually, recently this space telescope was in news as it was decommissioned. So this was associated to NASA, that is National Aeronautics and Space Administration, and recently NASA decommissioned it. This Spitzer Space Telescope was launched in 2003. The DKIST, the world's largest solar telescope that has recently captured the highest resolution image of which celestial body? So as the name itself suggests, it is solar telescope. So it has captured the highest resolution image of sun, and it is world's largest solar telescope, and this image was captured using VBI, that is Visible Broadband Imager. The Chinese New Year 2020, which fell on January 25th, marked the beginning of which year as per the Chinese astrology? So it is the beginning of Year of Rat, and the New Year celebrations have been postponed because of coronavirus. Which tennis player clinched the women's singles title in Australian Open tournament? So Miss Sophia Kenin won the women's single title in the Australian Open tournament. She is from USA. Now there are 4 Grand Slams: Australian Open, US Open, French Open and Wimbledon. Which aircraft of Indian Air Force recently took off with a 10% blend of Indian biojet fuel? So Antonov AN-32 of Indian Air Force recently took off from Leh, and this aircraft was powered with 10% blend of Indian biojet fuel. Which Indian public sector bank recently signed a Memorandum of Understanding with CARE Ratings to assess the credit quality of its small and medium enterprise customers? So it is Bank of Baroda, and it signed MOU with CARE Ratings. So this is expected to evaluate the credit quality. Okay, let me ask you one important banking question. At present, India is following which Basel norms, second or third? Dalip Kaur Tiwana, who passed away recently, was the famous writer in which language? So she was well known Punjabi writer and novelist, and she passed away recently. What is the state bird of Goa that was recently named as the mascot of National Games for 2020? So it is flame-throated bulbul. It is the state bird of Goa and it has been named as the official mascot for the 2020 National Games. And this is the 36th edition of National Games. According to the recent Union Budget, what is the disinvestment target of Indian government for 2020 to 2021? That means for next fiscal year. So recently, Union Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman presented the budget, and as per that, government has set up the disinvestment target at rupee 1.2 lakh crores for the next fiscal year. In addition to this, the government also expect rupee 90,000 crore revenue from the disinvestment of government stakes in public sector banks and in financial institutions including LIC and IDBI. As per the recent Union Budget, what is the estimated fiscal deficit target for next year expressed in the percentage of GDP? So the fiscal deficit target is 3.5% for next year. Now it should be noted that the fiscal deficit target for 2019-20 was 3.3%. Now it has been revised to 3.8% of GDP, citing the revenue shortage as a reason. What is the maximum insurance provided for the bank deposit as per the latest Union Budget? So the Union Finance Minister increased the maximum insurance provided for the bank deposits to rupee 5 lakh per depositor. Actually, the deposits of customers are insured under DICGC. DICGC stands for Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. What is the name of new scheme proposed in the budget which is to be implemented by the Aviation Ministry for transporting agricultural products? So the name of the scheme is Krishi Udan Scheme, and the scheme will be implemented by the Aviation Ministry for transporting agricultural products of farmers, and the scheme will be launched on both international and national routes. Therefore, it will increase the value realization of agricultural products. Who clinched the men's single title in the recently held Australian Open tournament? So Mr. Novak Djokovic won his 8th Australian Open title by defeating Mr. Dominic Thiem. So this is the 17th Grand Slam title of Mr. Novak Djokovic, and he is behind two other tennis stars. One is Mr. Roger Federer, he has won 20 titles, and one is Mr. Rafael Nadal, he has won 19 titles. Pramod Agarwal was recently appointed as the new chairman and MD of which public sector enterprise? So Mr. Agarwal recently assumed charge as the chairman and MD of CIL, that is Coal India Limited. CIL is a Maharatna company. The third private train of IRCTC is set to run between Varanasi and which Indian city? So recently it was announced by the chairman of Railway Board that the third private train of IRCTC is set to run between Varanasi and Indore. Which Indian diplomat was recently appointed as India's High Commissioner to Sri Lanka? So recently Mr. Gopal Bagle was appointed as India's High Commissioner to Sri Lanka. Currently he is serving at the PMO. PMO is Prime Minister's Office. Which country has declared a national emergency to tackle the attack of locust swarms? So recently Pakistan declared national emergency to tackle the locust invasion. Locusts are the insects that destroy the crops. In addition to Pakistan, recently Somalia also declared national emergency for the same region. In which Indian city the Indian Navy conducted coastal security exercise Matla Abhiyan? Right answer is Kolkata. So recently Indian Navy conducted this coastal security exercise Matla Abhiyan at Kolkata, and this exercise is named after the Matla river which flows around the Sundarbans. Which Indian private sector bank has recently launched a self-service delivery facility called iBox? Right answer is ICICI Bank. So recently, ICICI Bank launched this self-service delivery facility called iBox. Under this facility, the customers can avail various banking services including collecting their debit card or credit card, and this facility can be accessed even after the office hours. So these iBox terminals are to be placed outside the premises of the bank branches, and customer can access them even after the office hours. Which Indian state has recently launched a scheme to deliver pension at the doorsteps of beneficiaries? Right answer is Andhra Pradesh. So it is a new initiative that has been started by the state government of Andhra Pradesh, and the name of scheme is YSR Pension Kanuka Scheme. In addition to this scheme, the amount of pension was also increased. The previous amount was 1000, now it has been increased to 2250 rupees. Which country has recently rejoined the Commonwealth as 54th member country? So recently, Maldives rejoined the Commonwealth and became the 54th member of Commonwealth Union. The president of Maldives is Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed Soli. Now, it should be noted that the Commonwealth head of the government meeting will be in Rwanda in June 2020. Mohammad Tawfiq Alawi has been appointed as next Prime Minister of which country? So recently, the President of Iraq, Mr. Barham Saleh, has appointed Mr. Mohammad Tawfiq Alawi as next Prime Minister. It should be noted that the previous Prime Minister was Adel Abdul Mahdi, and he had to resign after the mass demonstrations against the government. India recently signed agreements with which country to establish a tourism zone in its Addu Islands? Right answer is Maldives. So recently, India and Maldives signed agreements for establishing a tourism zone in the Addu Islands. The High Commissioner of India is Mr. Sanjay Sudhir. India was also in news in connection with Maldives, as recently India handed over a consignment of vaccines for measles and rubella to Maldives after a suspected outbreak in Maldives. It should be noted that Maldives is observing 2020 as Year of Public Health. Harmeet Desai, who was seen in news recently, is associated to with sports. So Harmeet Desai is associated to tennis, and recently he was in news as he won the National Table Tennis Championship. He won the title in men's single category, while in women's single category in National Table Tennis Championship, Ms. S. Mukherjee won the title. Jaswant Singh Kanwal, who passed away recently, was associated to which field? So he was associated to literature, and he has authored more than 100 books. And the main focus of his novels was agrarian crisis, caste barriers, women empowerment. And popularly, he was also known as writer of movements. He passed away recently, and he was a recipient of Sahitya Akademi Award. On which date World Wetlands Day is observed annually? So it is observed on 2nd of February every year. Now 2nd of February is important because on this date in 1971 this Ramsar Convention was signed. This is a convention for the conservation of wetlands. Ramsar is a site in Iran, and the theme of this year's World Wetlands Day is Wetlands and Biodiversity. A training program for school children named Yuvika is conducted by which Indian organization? So it is an initiative by ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization. Full form of this Yuvika initiative is Yuva Vigyani Karyakram, and this is a program for school children. This program was first launched in 2019, and the objective of this initiative is to inculcate the curiosity about space. So this will promote awareness among the children related to space activities. SATHI, that means Sophisticated Analytical and Technical Help Institutes, is an initiative of which ministry? So it is an initiative of DST, that is Department of Science and Technology, and DST is under Ministry of Science and Technology. So DST has announced that it has planned to set up 5 SATHI centers every year for next 4 years. Now, what is the objective of this initiative? Actually, SATHI Center owns high-end analytical testing instruments, and therefore it will reduce our dependency on foreign sources. Which state bagged the award for best performance in Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana? And this award was recently presented by the Union Minister of Women and Child Development. Right answer is Madhya Pradesh. So recently, Women and Child Development Minister Ms. Smriti Irani presented the Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana awards to the best performing states. Now, Madhya Pradesh was on first place in the category of states with more than 1 crore population. On the other hand, Madhya Pradesh was followed by Andhra Pradesh and Haryana. Which Indian state has recently declared the disease caused by the novel coronavirus as a state calamity? So recently, the state government of Kerala declared disease caused by novel coronavirus as a state calamity. Now, it should be noted that Kerala reported the first infection from this virus in India. Now, I have uploaded a special video on coronavirus. You can watch that. This novel coronavirus was first reported in Wuhan in China. The Hubli to Dharwad BRTS, that is Bus Rapid Transit System project, was recently inaugurated in which state of India? So it was recently inaugurated by Vice President of India, Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu, and it is a project between the two cities of Karnataka. These two cities are Hubli and Dharwad. Now, this project was jointly funded by the state government, central government and World Bank. Which banker of India has been named as the Central Banker of Year by the Banker magazine? So, Mr. Shaktikant Das, the present RBI Governor, has been named as the Central Banker of the Year for Asia Pacific, and the Global Central Banker of the Year award was presented to Jorgonka Tabakovi. The famous arts festival called Kala Ghoda Arts Festival is celebrated annually in which city? So it is celebrated in Mumbai, and it is celebrated since 1999, and it is organized by Kala Ghoda Association. It should be noted that this year's edition of Kala Ghoda Arts Festival has been organized entirely through crowdfunding using a platform named Keto. So this year there is no conventional sponsorship, and this festival is organized in Mumbai. The third Defense Attaché Conference 2020 was recently held in which city? So this conference held in New Delhi, and it was inaugurated by the Union Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh. And during this event, he announced that India will set up 10 more defense attaché in 10 different countries, and this will strengthen our defense diplomacy. Babenko, Tell Me When I Die, which won the Golden Conch Award for Best Documentary Film, is a film of which country? So it is a documentary film of Brazil, and recently this film was given Best Documentary Film Award at the Mumbai International Film Festival, and this award was presented by the Governor of Maharashtra, Mr. Bhagat Singh Koshyari. L&T MBDA Missile Systems has recently set up a missile integration facility in which state of India? So it has been set up at Coimbatore city in the state of Tamil Nadu. Now it should be noted this LTM MSL is a joint venture between L&T and European defense company MBDA, and it has set up its missile integration facility at Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu. What is the theme of World Cancer Day that was observed recently across the world? So the theme is I am and I will. So every year World Cancer Day is observed on 4th of February, and this year the theme of the campaign is I am and I will. Now it should be noted that for the first time this World Cancer Day was observed in the year 2000. So this year it is the 20th edition of this World Cancer Day. Daniel Arap Moi who passed away recently, was the longest serving president of which country? So he was the longest serving president of Kenya and he passed away recently. He was the president of Kenya for 24 years. Now, it should be noted that during his tenure, he passed a constitutional amendment that made the Kenya one-party state. That means single political party. However, later it became multi-party state. Which film won the Best Film Award in the BAFTA, that is British Academy of Film Awards? So right answer is 1917. So the World War based film directed by the British filmmaker Sam Mendes won the Best Film Award in BAFTA. Which country has donated 20 million pounds for developing vaccine to combat the deadly coronavirus? So recently, UK government has donated 20 million pounds for developing a vaccine to combat the coronavirus, and this investment is set to be given to the CEPI. Now CEPI stands for Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, and it aims to develop vaccines. It should be noted that WHO, that is World Health Organization, has already declared public health emergency due to coronavirus. As per the recent WHO report, what is the investment that is required for the next decade to save 7 million lives globally from the cancer? So the World Cancer Day was observed on 4th of Feb and the theme was I am and I will. And on this Cancer Day, the WHO, that is World Health Organization, released a report, and as per that report, an investment of rupee 25 million would be required for saving the 7 million lives globally from the cancer. Which Indian fintech company has recently launched a POS device for smaller merchants? POS stands for point of sale. So it has been launched by Paytm and this is for smaller merchants. What is the estimated GDP growth rate of India in 2020-2021 as per the recent forecast from Fitch Ratings? So the estimated growth is 5.6%. Now it should be noted that it is lower than the estimated growth rate by Economic Survey. As per Economic Survey, the estimated growth is from 6% to 6.5%. Which Indian women tennis player won the women's single title and doubles title in ITF Thailand Championship? So recently Miss Ankita Raina won the women's single title at ITF Thailand Championship and this is her first ITF singles title of the season. Which Indian public sector enterprise has recently raised $750 million Japanese yen loan to reduce the air pollution from its power projects? So recently NTPC has raised this loan to reduce the air pollution from the power projects of NTPC, and this is the highest single foreign currency loan raised by the enterprise. A national level rural technical festival called Antapradhan was recently organized in which state or union territory? So it was organized in Telangana at Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technologies, and this is country's biggest technical festival. And the theme of this event was sport and encourage rural tech innovators. Which state government recently launched a scheme called Jan Sevak to home deliver various government services to the citizens? So recently the state government of Karnataka launched a scheme called Jan Sevak to home deliver various government services to the citizens. The scheme ensures delivery of ration cards, senior citizens identity cards and health cards at doorsteps of citizens. Now, if we talk about Karnataka, the Chief Minister of Karnataka is Mr. B.S. Yedurappa. Karnataka was also in news as recently Vice President Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu inaugurated BRTS in Karnataka. The Union Cabinet of India recently approved schemes to bring which category of banks under the regulation of RBI? So recently Union Cabinet approved amendments to the Banking Regulation Act and it will bring multi-state cooperative banks under the regulation of Reserve Bank of India. Now this decision was taken in the backdrop of collapse of PMC Bank last year. PMC stands for Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank. So now multi-state cooperative banks are under the regulation of Reserve Bank of India. Which Indian actor was recently presented with the Kishore Kumar Samman Award for 2018 by the state government of Madhya Pradesh? So recently, Indian actress Ms. Wahida Rahman was conferred with the prestigious Kishore Kumar Samman Award for year 2018, and this award was instituted by the Madhya Pradesh government. Pranab Kumar Gogoi, who passed away recently, was the famous personality in which field? So Mr. Gogoi was the former speaker of Assam State Legislative Assembly. So he was associated to politics. Now Assam was also in news as recently Khelo India Youth Games held in Assam. Which Indian city is set to be the host to the 15th East Asia Summit Conference 2020? So this conference will be in India, in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu. Now the main focus of this conference is cooperation in maritime security. It should be noted that the 14th EAS East Asia Summit held in Bangkok in Thailand. And this year, India is the host of this summit, and this is the 4th EAS conference organized by India. The flagship defense exhibition of India, DEF Expo, is organized in which city? So recently this was inaugurated in Lucknow, and it was inaugurated by the Prime Minister of India. The main theme of this Defense Expo is India, the emerging defense manufacturing hub, and the focus will be on digital transformation of defense. Which Asian country recently introduced a sustainable development fee for regional tourists including Indian visitors? So this decision has been taken by the Bhutan, as there is a sharp increase in the Indian visitors, and therefore the lower house of Bhutan Parliament passed the legislation in this regard. Now it should be noted that previously the tourists from India, Bangladesh and Maldives were exempted from this, but now they will have to pay a fees, and this fees will be charged from July 2020. What is the GDP growth rate of India in 2020-21 fiscal as estimated by the Moody's Investor Service? Now the estimated growth forecast is 5.5%. Former world champion Mirabai Chanu, who recently set a new national record in the National Weightlifting Championship, is associated to which state? So she is from Manipur, and recently she was in news as she set a new national record in the National Weightlifting Championship, and this championship held in Kolkata. National Horticultural Fair, the country's biggest horticulture fair, is set to be conducted in which city? So it is going on in Bengaluru at the campus of Indian Institute of Horticulture Research, and the main theme of this year's fair is making farming an enterprise. Udyanotsav is a famous Indian occasion that makes which place open for general public for nearly a month. So it is Rashtrapati Bhavan, and during this annual event Udyanotsav, the Mughal gardens at Rashtrapati Bhavan will be open for general public, and recently this Utsav was started by President of India Mr. Ramnath Kovind. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Kendra Yojana is a flagship scheme of which Union Ministry? So you can easily guess it by this word Kaushal. It means skill. So it is an initiative of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and it is implemented by NSDC, that is National Skill Development Corporation. The Transport Corporation of which Indian state or union territory has received the Road Safety Award for the lowest accident rate? So it is DTC, that is Delhi Transport Corporation. So DTC has been conferred with the Road Safety Award in the urban category for the lowest rate of accidents. What is the name of dispute resolution scheme for direct taxes that was recently announced in Union Budget? So recently, Union Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman presented the budget, and during this budget, she announced a dispute resolution scheme for direct taxes. And under this proposed scheme, the taxpayer whose tax demands are logged in any dispute can pay their due taxes by March 31st, 2020. APEDA, that is Agriculture and Processed Food Products Exports Development Authority, has recently organized first awareness program in which city or union territory. So recently APEDA organized first awareness program in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. A new natural gas field, Jebel Ali gas field, with 80 trillion cubic feet of gas resources was recently discovered in which country? So it was recently discovered in UAE. Now it should be noted that as of now UAE import natural gas from Qatar. Now UAE was also in news as world's first graduate level artificial intelligence university is to be set up in UAE. Which Indian oil and gas company signed Memorandum of Understanding with Russian energy firm Rosneft for importing crude oil from Russia? So recently IOC, that is Indian Oil Corporation, signed agreement with Russian energy firm Rosneft for importing crude oil. The present Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister is Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan. As per a recent report on medical data leaks, which state is at the top of Indian states that are affected by the leaks in medical details? So Maharashtra is on top in terms of leak of medical data, and Maharashtra is followed by Karnataka and West Bengal. What is the rank of India in the recently released International Intellectual Property Index 2020? So recently US Chamber of Commerce GIPC, that is Global Innovation Policy Center, released this International Intellectual Property Index, and as per this index India's ranking is 40. Last year India's ranking was 36. Union Cabinet of India approved Alliance Air to start flight operations between India and which country by waiving 20 aircraft rule? So recently Union Cabinet approved Alliance Airline to start flight operations between India and Sri Lanka by waiving a 520 rule. Now what is the meaning of this 520 rule? It means that before starting an international flight operations, the company should have an experience of 5 years and should have a fleet of at least 20 aircrafts. However, in case of Alliance, this 20 aircraft rule was waived. So right answer is Sri Lanka. And this Alliance Air is a 100% subsidiary of Air India. Britain's Prince Charles has launched a new children's protection fund for which Asian country? So it was launched for India, and this is a part of British Asian Trust, and this trust was founded by Prince Charles in 2007, and the objective of this trust was to fight poverty in South Asia. Which country recently launched the International Religious Freedom Alliance for protecting religious freedom across the world? So this alliance was started by USA. Now USA was also in news as recently Mr. Taranjit Singh Sandhu was appointed as Indian Ambassador to US. Previous Indian Ambassador was Mr. Harshvardhan Sringla. Which social media platform recently announced that it will label the fake news and remove harmful data shared on its platform? So this decision was taken by Twitter, and Twitter is a US based company, and Twitter announced that it would label the fake media shared on its platform so that users can identify that this content has been manipulated. So the idea is to identify fake news. India's 13th major port is set to be established in which state as per the recent approval of cabinet? So it will be in Maharashtra in Wadhwa, and this is going to be the 13th major port, and Government of India is expected to hold 51% of the stakes in this project. Which Indian city was recently certified formally as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO? So this city is Jaipur, the Pink City of India. Now, if we talk about UNESCO, the headquarters of UNESCO is in France, in Paris, and India's first UNESCO heritage city was Ahmedabad. The Union Cabinet recently approved to confer the status of Institution of National Importance to how many IIIT, that is Indian Institutes of Information Technology. So this INI status was approved for 5 new IIITs, and these 5 are in Surat, Bhopal, Bhagalpur, Agartala and Raichur. Israel's Elbit Systems recently signed a Memorandum of Understanding with which Indian company for developing an unmanned aerial vehicle, that is UAV. So HAL and Elbit System signed this MOU for UAV. Now this MOU was signed at Defense Expo, and this Defense Expo held in Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh. Which Indian celebrity is at top spot in the latest brand valuation study by Duff and Phillips? So Mr. Virat Kohli is on top as per this study, while on second position is Mr. Akshay Kumar, and Ms. Deepika Padukone along with Mr. Ranveer Singh is on third position. What is the repo rate after the 6th bi-monthly Monetary Policy Committee meeting of RBI in February 2020? So the RBI recently conducted its 6th bi-monthly Monetary Policy Committee meeting, and as per that the repo rate is 5.15%. So this MPC, that is Monetary Policy Committee, decided the rates as follows. Repo rate is 5.15%, reverse repo is 4.90%. What is the new deadline to restructure the accounts of MSME as per the recent announcement of RBI? So the new deadline is 31st of March 2021. The previous deadline was 31st of March 2020. Jabong, which was shut down recently, was owned by which company? So Jabong was owned by Flipkart, and recently it was in news because it was shut down, and the users of Jabong are now redirected towards Myntra. Rakhi Haldar, who was seen in news recently, is associated to with sports. So she is associated to weightlifting, and she is from West Bengal. She recently won a gold medal in the 64 kg category. Who was recently awarded the International Gandhi Award for Leprosy by the Indian President? So recently Dr. N.S. Dharam Shaktu was awarded International Gandhi Award for Leprosy in individual category, while in institution category it was given to Leprosy Mission Trust. Christina Koch, who was in news recently, is associated to which field? So she is an astronaut of NASA, and recently she created a world record by spending 328 days in ISS, that is International Space Station. Which state is set to host the Hornbill Festival this month, which was originally celebrated in Nagaland? So the state is Tripura, and it will hold the Hornbill Festival for the first time. Actually, it is a state festival of Nagaland, and Tripura is hosting this festival with an aim to conserve the hornbill bird. Kirk Douglas, who recently passed away, is associated to which field? So Mr. Douglas was associated to cinema, and he was well-known Hollywood actor. He passed away recently. As per the Periodic Labor Force Survey, what was the unemployment rate in our country in 2017-18? So recently, Minister of State for Labor, Mr. Santosh Gangwar, announced that government is conducted a new Periodic Labor Force Survey. And as per the results of this Periodic Labor Force Survey, the unemployment rate in our country was 6.1% in 2017-18. As per the recent report of media agency Group M, what is the position of India in the list of global advertising markets in 2020? So India is on 8th position, and this is 2 positions higher than the previous year's ranking. USA is on 1st position, and USA is followed by China and Japan. Which famous writer was recently selected for a Mystic Culling Literary Award? So recently, Mr. Manoj Das was selected for Culling Literary Award, and this award is given to a person who has made significant contribution to the literature and culture of Odia. What is projected growth rate of India during the next financial year as per monetary policy of RBI? So it is 6%, and as per economic survey it is between 6 to 6.5%. The 5th India-Russia Military Industrial Conference was recently organized in which city? So this conference was organized in Lucknow on the sidelines of Defense Expo. Now, if we talk about Russia, recently Russia was in news because of Power of Siberia. It is a gas pipeline between China and Russia. Which organization is set to release Digital Payment Index to assess the digitization of payment in our country? So recently RBI announced that it is going to release this DPI, and this will assess the status of digitalization of payments in our country. Which city plays host to the 22nd India International Seafood Show after a gap of 12 years? So Kochi is the host of 22nd India International Seafood Show, and this was inaugurated by the Governor of Kerala. Which union territory has recently renamed its Public Health Engineering, Irrigation and Flood Control Department as Jal Shakti Department? Right answer is Jammu and Kashmir. So recently, the Administrative Council under Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Mr. G.C. Murmu, approved the renaming of Public Health Engineering, Irrigation and Flood Control Department as Jal Shakti Department. The indigenous air-to-ground missile Khagantak, which was unveiled during the ongoing Defense Expo, is built by which organization? So it is built by JSR Dynamics. It is a private Indian firm that recently unveiled this indigenous air-to-ground missile. What is the theme of this year's International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation that was observed on 6th of February? So the theme was Unleashing Youth Power. And in 2012, United Nations General Assembly, that is UNGA, designated 6th of February as International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation. Who has been named as the head of trust for the construction of Ram Temple, which was recently constituted by the central government? So following the Supreme Court verdict in Ram Temple, the central government constituted a trust, and the name of this trust is Sri Ram Janambhoomi Tirth Kshetra. And the former Attorney General of India, Mr. K. Parsaran, has been appointed as the head of this trust. Leading car maker Ford recently inaugurated its Technology and Innovation Center at which Indian city? So this was started in Chennai in Tamil Nadu, and the center was inaugurated by the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. E.K. Palaniswamy. Sarang, which is to be inducted into Indian Army, is an upgraded version of which weapon? So it is an upgraded version of artillery gun, and it would be inducted into Indian Army. Present Army Chief is General Manoj Mukund Narwane. SAI, that is Sports Authority of India, and which sports federation announced to establish high performance centers in the 7 places across the country? So it is a collaboration between Hockey India and Sports Authority of India to establish high performance centers. Which state recently signed agreement with the Survey of India to use drones in the land survey for mapping of villages of the state? So the state is Madhya Pradesh, and for this Madhya Pradesh signed agreement with Survey of India. Which Indian PSU signed a Memorandum of Understanding with RailTel Corporation of India for mutual cooperation in communication and defense projects? So BEL signed this MOU with RailTel for cooperation in the communication and defense projects. The Department of Telecommunications recently approved
the merger of consumer mobile operations of Tata Group with which telecom provider. So recently DOT, that is Department of Telecommunications, approved the merger of Bharti Airtel and Tata Group. High Energy Materials Research Laboratory, that is HEMRL, which recently tied with the Russian organization Rosbon to import new technologies, is the lab of which Indian organization? So it is a lab of DRDO, and recently it signed agreement with Russian organization Rosbon to import the new technologies for the development of high energy materials that are required for missiles and rockets. Pradeep Singh, who was seen in news recently, is associated with sports. So he is associated to weightlifting, and recently he won the gold medal in National Weightlifting Championship that held in Kolkata. Raju Bharatan, who passed away recently, is a famous personality in which field? So he was a well-known sports journalist and he passed away recently. The first glass floor suspension bridge of India is to be built in which state of India? So it is going to be in Uttarakhand. Actually last year the Lakshman Jhula was closed after it was declared unfit, and this Jhula was constructed in 1923.
The cyber security project codenamed DESFA that was recently making news is associated to which country? So it is a project of Iran, and this term DESFA means digital fortress. Now if we talk about Iran, capital of Iran is Tehran. The term spice, sometimes seen in news, is related to which of the following fields? So it is related to business and economy, and recently Ministry of Corporate Affairs decided to replace the existing SPICE form with a new web form called SPICE Plus. The term battery gate, recently in news, is related to which of the following tech giants? So this term battery gate means tech companies put a restriction on the performance of battery after a certain period of time. So this battery gate means putting performance control on the older devices, and that's why after some time these devices become slow. Now coming back to the question, as it is associated to Apple, and this battery gate refers to the implementation of performance controls on the older models of Apple's iPhone in order to preserve system stability on degraded batteries. As per NASA, base on Antarctic reached a temperature of 18.3 degrees Celsius, thus becoming the hottest on record for continental Antarctica. Now the question is that this base is a research station of which country? So it is a research station of Argentina, and it is situated on the Trinity Peninsula of Antarctica. Sir Govardhanpur in Uttar Pradesh is the birthplace of which Bhakti saint? So it is the birthplace of Sant Ramdas, and recently the birth anniversary of 14th century Saint Sant Ramdas was celebrated all over India on 9th of Feb. On 8th of February, Thaipusam festival was celebrated by Tamil community around the world. This festival marks the birthday of which deity? So Thaipusam is a festival celebrated on the full moon of Tamil month of Thai, and it is believed to be the birthday of Murugan. Which Indian crop faces danger due to fungus called Alternaria brassicae as per the recent news? So this Alternaria brassicae is a fungus that causes blight in mustard crop, and it has a harmful impact on the production. Which city recently organized the Nutan International Theatre Festival? So this festival was organized in Jammu, and this is for the first time in the history of Jammu and Kashmir that a theatre festival of international reputation was organized. In context with India's defense, what is PRANS? So PRANS is a missile which is being developed by DRDO, and this missile is the advanced version of Prahar missile, and this PRANS missile will be a surface to surface ballistic missile.
Naseem Shah recently became the youngest person to get a hat-trick in the Test cricket. He is from which country? So Mr. Shah is from Pakistan, and recently he became the youngest person to get a hat-trick in the Test match. He made this record against Bangladesh. Which sports coach has received an honorable mention in the male category of prestigious 2019 International Olympic Committee's Coaches Lifetime Achievement Award? So, recently, Chief National Badminton Coach Mr. Pulela Gopichand received an honorable mention in the male category of prestigious 2019 IOC, that is International Olympic Committee's Coaches Lifetime Achievement Award for his role in the development of game in country. He is our Chief National Badminton Coach. Which city was the host of National Conference on E-Governance 2020? So, this conference held in Mumbai, and this was the 23rd edition of conference. And after this conference, Mumbai Declaration was adopted. The recently adopted Lucknow Declaration is related to which field? It is related to defense cooperation, and it was adopted by the first ever India-Africa Defense Ministers Conclave. And this conclave was the part of 11th Defense Expo. This expo held in Lucknow. The Belem Caves Festival was recently organized in which state? So this was organized in Andhra Pradesh, and this festival promote the cave system. The state was also in news as recently it passed Disha bill, and which provides for the stringent punishment against criminals who commit crimes against women. Which country has recently unveiled Rad 500 missile? So it was unveiled by Iran, and it is a short-range ballistic missile. Who is the author of Gandhi's Hinduism, The Struggle Against Jinnah's Islam? So Mr. M.J. Akbar is the author of this book. Which state has recently launched an initiative to establish hotels to provide meals at subsidized price called Kudamsiri Hotels? So this is an initiative of Kerala government for poverty eradication and women empowerment. This Kudamsiri initiative is for poverty eradication and women empowerment, and recently under this initiative Kerala government decided to provide food at subsidized rates. Which metro rail service in India has become the second largest operational metro rail network in our country? So recently the Chief Minister of Telangana flagged off Hyderabad Metro between Hyderabad and Secunderabad, and with this Hyderabad Metro has become the second largest operational metro network in our country after Delhi Metro. What is the profession of Anup Mishra, who has been in news recently? So Mr. Anup Mishra is associated to Indian Army, and presently he is Army Major, and he is from College of Military Engineering, and he was known for developing a bulletproof jacket against sniper bullets. Which state recently launched Mukhyamantri Parivar Samriddhi Yojana, which provides an annual assistance of Rs 6,000 to the needy family? So this is an initiative by the state government of Haryana, and under this scheme the financial assistance of Rs 6,000 is to be provided to the families where annual income is less than Rs 1.8 lakh and who own land below 5 acres. Arun 3 is a hydropower project of which country that is to be built with assistance from India? So recently India and Nepal signed the financial closure of Arun 3, and it is the largest hydropower project of Nepal, and this is a 900 megawatt power project which is under construction in Nepal. The Pollution Control Board of which state recently received the National Award for E-Governance? So recently the Pollution Control Board of Andhra Pradesh got this award for its RT-PMS project. Which country has reportedly auctioned license to hunt elephants to tackle human-animal conflict? So recently, this decision was taken by the South African country, Botswana. And this country has the largest population of elephants in the world, and recently it auctioned licenses to hunt elephants to tackle human-animal conflict. The book A Child of Destiny, which was recently released by the Vice President of India, is an autobiography of which Indian educationist? So it is autobiography of Indian philosopher and educationist Professor K. Ramakrishna Rao, and it was released by Vice President Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu in Vishakhapatnam. Which city's police recently launched an initiative called Operation Nakel, actually it is Nakel, to verify the identity of auto drivers. So to prevent the crimes in auto rickshaws, the city police of Ghaziabad started this Operation Nakel to verify the identity of auto drivers of the city. Under this initiative, a unique 4-digit number will be allotted to every auto rickshaw of the city, and the owner of the vehicle has to paint his name, number and mobile number on the auto. Municipal Performance Index, that is MPI, is an index recently launched by which organization or ministry? So this is an initiative by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. P.K. Goldberg, who recently submitted her resignation, was associated with which global organization? So she was associated with the World Bank, and she was the chief economist of World Bank. She was in news recently as she announced her resignation. Kamya Karthikeyan of Mumbai recently became the youngest girl in the world to summit Mount Aconcagua. Now this Mount Aconcagua is the highest peak of South America. Now the question is, it is located in which country? So it is located in Argentina, and recently this Mount Aconcagua was in news because of Kamya Karthikeyan. Which state announced that a center called Bharosa Center will be set up to monitor the impact of social media on youth? So this decision was taken by the state government of Madhya Pradesh. Giriraj Kishore, who recently passed away, was associated with which field? He was associated with literature, and he passed away recently. He was well-known writer and academician. Which city was the host of African Union Summit? So the 33rd African Union Summit recently held in Addis Ababa, and it is the capital of Ethiopia. And the theme of this summit was silencing the guns and creating conducive environment for Africa's development. Which country won the first Under-19 World Cup title in this year's ICC World Cup cricket tournament? So recently Bangladesh won it by defeating India, and this Under-19 World Cup tournament held in South Africa. Indian team was led by Mr. Priyam Garg. Aditya Mehta, who was seen in news recently, is associated to which sports? So he is associated to snooker, and he was in news recently as he won the National Snooker Championship, and this championship held in Pune. The National Deworming Day was recently observed on which date? So it was observed on 10th of February, and all the children and adolescent girls and boys in all states and union territories who are in the age group of 1 to 19 are to be given a single dose of a medicine called albendazole. Which film recently won the Oscar for Best Picture, which is also the first non-English film to win this award? Right answer is Parasite. So the South Korean film Parasite created history at Oscars 2020, and it became the first film which is not in English to win the Oscars award. Which city is host to the 13th UN Convention on Conservation of Migratory Species 2020? So Gandhinagar in Gujarat is the host of this convention, and it is going to be the COP13, that is 13th Conference of Parties, and the theme of this year's summit is Migratory Species Connect the Planet and We Welcome Them Home. Recently, Supreme Court of India upheld the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Amendment Act. Now, the question is, when was the original Act of 1989 amended? Actually, in March 2018, the Supreme Court gave a judgment diluting the original Act. American Factory, which won the Oscar for the best feature-length documentary, was produced by which famous American personality? So, it was produced by the former President of America, Mr. Barack Obama. So, recently this American Factory documentary won the Oscar award. Which bird is named as the mascot of UN Convention of Conservation of Migratory Species? So, the mascot is GIB, that is Great Indian Bustard. Ajay Warrior is a joint military exercise conducted between India and which country? So it is a exercise between India and UK, and this time it will be conducted in UK, and the armies of India and UK are going to participate in this exercise. Which Union Ministry releases the Public Enterprises Survey on the performance of central public sector enterprises? So it is released by Ministry of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises. Now I have uploaded a special video on this topic, you can watch that. Which state government recently launched the Reading Mission initiative for students? So it is an initiative by the state government of Haryana, and the objective of this initiative is to inculcate the reading habit among the young students of state. On which date the World Pulses Day is observed across the country? So it is observed on 10th of February, and on 10th of February National Deworming Day is also observed. Which Union Ministry has recently launched the web portal for star rating of coal mines? So recently Ministry of Coal has launched a web portal for star rating of coal mines. The storm Ciara recently hit several countries of which continent? So this storm was in news because of damage in Europe, and several European countries witnessed this devastating storm Ciara, and this storm moved near to Germany after hitting Britain and Ireland. Which city plays host to the first cultural festival called Jerusalem Mumbai Festival? So the name itself suggests this is to be hosted by Mumbai, and this is first such joint event for Jerusalem in an Asian city. Which famous cricketer of Australia received the Allen Border Medal from Cricket Australia? So right answer is David Warner. So Australian cricketer David Warner won the Allen Border Medal of Cricket Australia for being the Player of the Year, while Alice Perry won the Belinda Clark Award. Which automobile firm is set to acquire the automotive business of Ford India? So recently CCI, that is Competition Commission of India, approved the formation of JV, that means joint venture, between Mahindra and Mahindra and Ford Motor. Giri Wesley, who clinched the Tata Open Maharashtra 2020, is from which country? So he is from Czech Republic, and recently he won the Tata Open Maharashtra 2020, and this event held in Pune. Last time this event held in Chennai. As per the latest study of NCRB, which state records the highest number of missing women? So recently NCRB compiled the data on missing children and women on the directions of Supreme Court, and as per this data, Maharashtra records the highest number of missing women in last 3 years. The National Online Platform for Public Procurement Government e-Marketplace was launched in which year? So this was launched in 2016, and it is under Union Ministry of Commerce. EDFS, that is Electronic Dealer Financing Scheme, is a flagship product of which Indian public sector bank? So it is an initiative of State Bank of India, and recently SBI partnered with mobile phone manufacturer Realme to offer credit facilities, and this partnership is made under bank's EDFS scheme. Which Indian hockey player was named as the 2019 Women's Rising Star of the Year by FIH? Recently, Miss Lal Rimjiami has been named as the 2019 FIH Women's Rising Star of the Year, and she is from Mizoram. The Institute of Financial Management is set to be renamed after which former Union Minister? It will be renamed after Mr. Arun Jaitley, who was our Union Finance Minister. So the new name of this institute is going to be Arun Jaitley National Institute of Financial Management. On which date International Day of Women and Girls in Science is celebrated across the world? So it is celebrated on 11th of February. Now, if we talk about science, recently 107th edition of Indian Science Congress held in Bengaluru. Hakim Ajmal Khan was an eminent physician in which field of medicine? So he was founder of scientific research in Unani system of medicine, and he was one of the founder of Jamia Millia Islamia in New Delhi. As per the notification of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, which component will be treated as drugs from 1st of April 2020? So as per the notification of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, all the medical devices sold in our country would be treated as drugs, and therefore they would be subject to regulation under Drugs and Cosmetic Act. What is the official name of virus outbreak from China as per the World Health Organization? So recently WHO announced that the deadly virus outbreak from China will be officially called as COVID-19. Now previously the temporary name was 2019 NCOV. Now the official name is COVID-19. What does GSP stand for in the context of India-US trade relationship? So GSP stands for Generalized System of Preferences, and recently USTR, that is US Trade Representative's Office, has classified India as a developed country. Who has been appointed as the chairman of newly formed Space PSU, and the name of this PSU is NSIL, that is New Space India Limited. So recently Mr. G. Narayanan has been named as the chairman of NSIL, and NSIL is the commercial entity of ISRO. Pehle Safety is an internet safety campaign of which technological company? So it is an initiative of Google, and it is a new public outreach campaign on internet safety, and the name of this campaign is Pehle Safety. Now recently Google was also in news as it announced its decision to grant 1 million to a news literacy organization, Intern News, to spread news literacy. Gulmarg, where the National Winter Games event is set to be held, is located in which union territory or in which state? So it is located in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and this event of National Winter Games will start from 7th of March. Which state government recently launched toll-free helpline number for students to resolve their queries by the experts? So this decision was taken by the state government of Uttar Pradesh to help students to solve their doubts ahead of board examinations. We Think Digital is a digital literacy program of which global technological company? So it is an initiative of Facebook, and this initiative was launched in 2019, and the objective is to overcome the gender imbalance on the internet space. Nandu R. Kulkarni, who passed away recently, was noted personality of which field? So he was a well-known journalist and he passed away recently. He was associated to the newspaper The Statesman. The cricket team of which country was recently presented with the ICC Women's Championship trophy? So the Australian team was presented with the ICC Women's Champions trophy. Now recently Bangladesh won the Under-19 World Cup. Bangladesh won it by defeating India, and this tournament held in South Africa. Gurela Pendra Marwahi is newly formed district of which state? So it is the new district of Chhattisgarh, and this new district has been carved out of Bilaspur. Kaveri Delta region, which is set to be declared as a protected special agriculture zone, is located in which state of India? It is located in Tamil Nadu, and recently Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Mr. E.K. Palaniswamy announced that this Kaveri Delta region would be declared as PSAZ, that is Protected Special Agriculture Zone, and this declaration would ensure the food safety of state. The National Productivity Council functions under which union ministry? It functions under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Actually, this NPC, that is National Productivity Council, is under DPIIT. DPIIT stands for Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and this DPIIT is under Commerce Ministry. Now recently this NPC, that is National Productivity Council, was in news as National Productivity Day was celebrated on 12th of February, and the entire week from 12th of February to 18th of February is to be celebrated as Productivity Week. Which state government recently approved Groundwater Act to improve the groundwater level? So this decision was taken by the state government of Uttar Pradesh so that the groundwater level of the state can be improved. Now if we talk about water, recently Himachal Pradesh decided to sell the water of Yamuna. Himachal Pradesh was also in news as it is the theme state for this year's Surajkund Mela in Haryana. Which city was the host of National Water Conference 2020? So this conference held in Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh, and it was inaugurated by the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Mr. Kamal Nath. Now Bhopal was also in news as recently India's first e-waste clinic was started in Bhopal, and it is collaboration between Bhopal Municipal Corporation and CPCB. CPCB stands for Central Pollution Control Board. Arvind Kejriwal led Aam Aadmi Party won how many seats in the recent assembly elections in Delhi? Aam Aadmi Party won 62 seats out of 70.
Where is the headquarters of IFAD, that is International Fund for Agricultural Development? So the headquarters is in Rome in Italy. It should be noted that it is a UN agency which works to eliminate hunger and poverty. The School Health and Wellness Ambassador Initiative has been launched under which scheme? So this is an initiative under Ayushman Bharat scheme, and for this initiative the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and Ministry of Human Resource Development collaborated. What is the theme of World Radio Day that was observed on 13th of February? So the theme was Radio and Diversity. It should be noted that every year on 13th of February this World Radio Day is celebrated. Pradhan Mantri Vandana Yojana is a flagship scheme of which union ministry? So it is an initiative of Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and the objective of this initiative is to create livelihood for tribal people by using the forest produce, and for this purpose Vandhan Kendras are set up for the branding and packaging of this forest produce. What is the capital package that was recently approved for the infusion in 3 state-owned general insurance companies? So this package is rupee 2500 crores, and this is going to be infused in 3 insurance companies. These 3 insurance companies are government owned, and these are United India Insurance, National Insurance Company and Oriental Insurance Company. The direct tax Vivad se Vishwas scheme is to cover the pending litigation of which tribunal as per the recent approval by Union Cabinet. So recently, Union Cabinet approved the amendment of Direct Tax Vivad se Vishwas Bill, and now it also covers the litigations that are pending in DRT. DRT stands for Debt Recovery Tribunal. So now this Vivad se Vishwas scheme can provide benefits where the recovery is up to 5 crore rupees. Which product is recently banned in all airports and aircrafts by BCAS. BCAS stands for Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. So recently BCAS has notified that it has banned e-cigarettes and similar products in all airports and aircrafts in our country. Who was recently appointed as new president of ICAI, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants. So Mr. Atul Kumar Gupta was recently appointed as the new president of ICAI. Wendell Rodrigues, who passed away recently, was associated to which field? So he was associated to fashion designing and he passed away recently. He was a well-known promoter of Khadi. Amit Panghal, who was seen in news recently, is associated to which sports? So he is associated to boxing, and recently he has been ranked first by the International Olympic Committee's Boxing Task Force. Which country recently ratified the North Atlantic Treaty to be the member of NATO? NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So recently, Republic of North Macedonia ratified North Atlantic Treaty to be the member of NATO. The membership of Republic of North Macedonia was previously opposed by Greece, and later both countries signed an agreement, and as per that agreement, the present Republic of North Macedonia changed its name. So this Republic of North Macedonia is new name. The previous name was Macedonia. Global code hosting platform GitHub that recently launched its operations in India is owned by which technological company? So it is owned by Google, and recently it launched its operations in India. Now it should be noted that this GitHub is a global open source code hosting and software development platform, and this is owned by Google. F-15EX fighter aircraft, which was recently in news, is manufactured by which aerospace company? So it is manufactured by Boeing, and recently it was announced that this company has asked license from US authorities so that it can export this fighter aircraft to Indian Air Force. Hunar Haat is an initiative of which Union Ministry? So it is an initiative of Ministry of Minority Affairs, and under this initiative, a platform is provided to the artisans, craftsmen, so that they can show their talent. And recently, the Hunar Haat was inaugurated in Indore in Madhya Pradesh. Indian Naval Station Shivaji is located in which Indian state or union territory? So INS Shivaji is located in Maharashtra, and recently it was in news as President Mr. Ramnath Kovind presented President's Color to INS Shivaji, and this President's Color is the highest honor given to a military unit. UN Security Council has recently approved a resolution for ceasefire in which country? So this country is Libya, and Libya is politically unstable since 2011 after the death of its leader Gaddafi. Which country has unveiled its first artificial intelligence police officer, Ella? So recently New Zealand unveiled its first artificial intelligence police officer, Ella. Ella stands for Electronic Lifelike Assistant. which country recently approved the sale of an integrated air defense weapon system to India? So recently, USA approved the sale of integrated air defense weapon systems to India. Apiary on Wheels is an initiative of which statutory body of India? So Apiary on Wheels means collection of bees on wheels, and this is an initiative of KVIC, that is Khadi and Village Industries Commission, and this initiative includes effective migration of bee boxes. So it is a platform by which 20 bee boxes can be carried from one place to another without any difficulty. Pyar Ka Podha, that means a plant of love, is a campaign of which state for promoting tree plantation? So it is an initiative of Bihar government to encourage people to plant more trees. Now, Bihar was also in news as recently India Corruption Survey was released, and as per this survey, Rajasthan and Bihar are the most corrupt states, while in South India, Telangana is the most corrupt state. Rajiv Bansal has been appointed as the chairman and MD of which Indian airline? So Mr. Bansal has been appointed as the chairman and MD of Air India, and he is going to replace Mr. Ashwani Lohani. INS Jamuna of Indian Navy is set to conduct hydrographic surveys in which neighboring countries of India? So hydrographic survey ship INS Jamuna of Indian Navy is set to conduct the survey in Sri Lanka for next 2 months. Now Sri Lanka was also in news as recently elections held in Sri Lanka and Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa became the president of Sri Lanka, who was recently appointed as the new finance secretary of India. So Mr. Debashish Panda is going to be the new finance secretary and he is going to replace Mr. Rajiv Kumar. So Mr. Debashish Panda is new finance secretary, present finance minister is Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, and present minister of finance is Mr. Anurag Thakur. Which Indian player was recently named Player of the Year for 2019 by International Hockey Federation? So Manpreet Singh, the captain of India's men's hockey team, was named as the Player of the Year for 2019, and Mr. Manpreet became the first Indian to win the prestigious award, and this award is given since 1999. Rishi Sunak recently became the first Indian origin finance minister of which country? So we already covered this aspect. Mr. Sunak recently became the finance minister of UK, and he is going to replace the earlier finance minister, Mr. Sajid Javid. Mr. R.K. Pachori, who recently passed away, was the founder of which Indian institute? So Mr. Pachori was the founder of TERI, that is the Energy and Resource Institute, and it is a Delhi-based institute. As of 2020, which Indian telecom operator is the second most valuable mobile operator in Asia? So Bharti Airtel has become the second most valuable mobile operator in Asia, and it is behind China's operator China Mobile. Latpora, where a memorial of CRPF personnel killed in Pulwama attack was inaugurated. Now the question is, this memorial is situated in which state or union territory? So it is situated in Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory, and recently it was inaugurated. Now if we talk about CRPF, it is Central Reserve Police Force, and present DG of CRPF is Mr. AP Maheshwari. Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, who made his first visit to India, is the president of which European country? So he is the president of Portugal, and he is on his visit to India. Now if we talk about Portugal, the capital is Lisbon, and the present Secretary General of United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, is also from this country. Which Indian state or union territory was the host of BIMSTEC conference on combating drug trafficking? So this conference held in New Delhi, and NCB, that is Narcotics Control Bureau, organized this conference, and it was inaugurated by Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah. Sahibganj, where the industrial cluster is being developed by Ministry of Shipping, is located in which state of India? So it is in Jharkhand, and Minister of State for Shipping Mr. Manshukh Mandavia recently announced that ministry is developing industrial cluster cum logistic park at Sahibganj, and Sahibganj is in Jharkhand. BioAsia is an annual biotech and life sciences forum of which state government? So it is of Telangana, and it is going to be in Hyderabad. It should be noted that Switzerland is the partner nation for this event. Vinay Dubey was recently appointed as the new CEO of which Indian airline? So Mr. Dubey was appointed as the new CEO of Go Air, and Go Air is a Mumbai-based Indian airline. Which is India's first underwater metro rail service? So Kolkata Metro is India's first underwater metro rail service, and it is under River Hooghly. It should be noted that Kolkata Metro is also the first metro rail service of our country, and recently Hyderabad Metro became the second largest operational metro network in our country. Delhi Metro is the largest operational metro rail network in our country. Corbett Tiger Reserve is located in which state or union territory? So it is in Uttarakhand, and recently it was in news as the State Cabinet of Uttarakhand approved eco-sensitive zones for the Corbett Tiger Reserve. The Pravasi Bharatiya Kendra and Foreign Service Institute have been renamed after which former Indian Union Minister? So it has been renamed after former External Affairs Minister Ms. Sushma Swaraj. She passed away last year. The National Maritime Heritage Complex is to be set up in which state of India? So it is going to be set up in Gujarat in Lothal. It should be noted that it was in news recently because the President of Portugal is in India, and both countries, that means India and Portugal, are collaborating for this National Maritime Heritage Complex in Gujarat in Lothal, which is first and the only private firm to build and deliver research ships in our country. So recently, Indian private firm Tata Wagons Limited commissioned the second coastal research vessel Sagar Anveshika, and the first research ship was Sagar Tara. So by commissioning these two vessels, it has become the first and only private firm to build and deliver research ships in our country. What is the theme of 56th Munich Security Conference 2020? So the theme was Restlessness, and this conference held in Munich in Germany. And from Indian side, our External Affairs Minister Mr. S. Jaishankar represented India. Mr. Jaishankar is the member of Rajya Sabha from Gujarat. So our External Affairs Minister is Mr. Jaishankar, and our Foreign Secretary is Mr. Harshvardhan Shringla. What is the name of third corporate passenger train of India? So it is Kashi Mahakal Express. It should be noted that IRCTC is set to launch the third corporate passenger train, and this Kashi Mahakal Express will connect Varanasi and Indore. So three corporate passenger trains are, first is Tejas Express, and it connects Lucknow and Delhi. That means its route is Lucknow and Delhi. Second is between Ahmedabad and Mumbai, and this is third one that is going to connect the Indore and Varanasi, and the name is Kashi Mahakal Express. Kambala, which was seen in news recently, is a traditional sport of which state? So it is a traditional sport of Karnataka, and in which people of coastal district of Karnataka conduct a buffalo race. Now it was in news recently as one of the local contestant named Mr. Srinivas Gowda covered the 142.5 meter Kambala in 13.62 seconds. Yes Bharti Award is the highest award of which state or union territory? So it is the highest award of Uttar Pradesh, and recently it was in news as the state government announced that this Yes Bharti award is to be replaced with State Cultural Award. Which state commenced operations of India's first intercity electric bus service? So this first intercity electric bus service is going to operate between Mumbai and Pune, and recently it was inaugurated by the Union Transport Minister Mr. Nitin Gadkari. As per the recent military balance report, the defense modernization of which country led to higher military spending by the USA? So recently, London-based IISS, that is International Institute for Strategic Studies, released a annual report, and the title was Military Balance. And as per this report, it was stated that global spending on defense increased by 4% in 2019. So this is global spending, and this is the largest growth in last 10 years. And this increase is mainly because of USA and China. So this report revealed that the defense modernization of China led to higher defense spending by USA. Both USA and China increased their defense spending by more than 6%. To be precise, it is 6.6%. So the right answer is China, and because of higher spending by China, USA also started spending more on the defense modernization. Which country has recently developed a recovery plasma to treat COVID-19 infected patients? So this country is China, and it developed recovery plasma to treat the patients. Actually, the biotechnology research company of China collected the plasma from recovered patients to treat the infected patients. Now, COVID-19 stands for Coronavirus Disease 2019, and this disease outbreak started in 2019 in Wuhan in China. Which late basketball player was recently named finalist of Basketball Hall of Fame? So he is Mr. Kobe Bryant, who died recently in a helicopter crash, and he was named as the finalist of Basketball Hall of Fame. Mr. Bryant played for Los Angeles Lakers. What is the theme of this year's multilateral naval exercise of India, Milan? So the theme is Synergy Across the Seas, and it is biggest multilateral naval exercise in the Indian Ocean region, and it is set to be organized at Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. Who is the head of Municipal Bonds Development Committee that was constituted by SEBI? So Mr. Sujit Prasad is the head of this committee, which was constituted by the Securities Exchange Board of India. According to a study by RBI, which state attracted the highest project investment in 2018-19? So Andhra Pradesh attracted the highest project investments. Last year, Maharashtra was on top position, but this year, Maharashtra was on top position in terms of investment over a 5-year period. And in 2018-19, Andhra Pradesh is on top. The General Insurance Corporation of India is set to commence reinsurance business in which country? So this country is Russia, and recently Russia has given license to GIC to commence reinsurance business in Russia. GIC stands for General Insurance Corporation. Which Indian state has recently radio tagged an Indian pangolin on the occasion of World Pangolin Day? So this state is Madhya Pradesh, and as you can see in picture, this is Indian pangolin. And on the occasion of World Pangolin Day, that means 15th February, the Forest Department of Madhya Pradesh radio tagged the Indian pangolin. The Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay Memorial Center is built in which Indian city? So it is in Varanasi, and it is to be inaugurated by Indian Prime Minister Mr. Modi. The Prime Minister is also going to unveil the statue of Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay in Varanasi. Which city is to host the Organic Food Festival to promote women entrepreneurs? So Ministry of Food Processing and Ministry of Women and Child Development collaborated to organize this Organic Food Festival in Delhi. And the idea behind this food festival is to assist women entrepreneurs in the organic food sector. Sonam Sherpa, who died recently, was the famous personality in which field? So he was associated to music and he was the founder of famous music band Parikarma, and Sonam Sherpa was the lead guitarist of this band. System risk indicator, which was seen in news recently, is associated to which country? So it is associated to Netherlands, and it is a identification mechanism, and recently it was ruled out by the court citing the reasons of data privacy. Yodhavu, that means warrior, a mobile application for curbing drug menace, is an initiative of which state of India? So recently, the Chief Minister of Kerala, Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan, launched this mobile application Yodhavu for curbing the drug menace. The late EAM, that is External Affairs Minister, Ms. Sushma Swaraj, was born in which city where she was elected as a member of Legislative Assembly? Now this question is asked because recently the bus stand of Ambala city was named after Ms. Sushma Swaraj. She was the External Affairs Minister of India from 2014 to 2019. She was born in Ambala Kent in Haryana, and recently Haryana was also in news because of Suraj Kund Mela. What is the current accounting year of RBI? So the current accounting year is July to June, and recently it was recommended to align this accounting year of RBI with the financial year of government, and the financial year of government is April to March. Now RBI was also in news because of Money app. This app was launched to help visually challenged people to identify currency notes. What is the objective of Credai Awas mobile application that was recently launched? So this Credai stands for Confederation of Real Estate Developers, and recently this Confederation of Real Estate Developers Association of India launched a mobile application, and the objective of this application is to ease the purchase of residential properties. So through this application, a platform is created for the home buyers so that they can identify the suitable residential property and they can directly contact the developer. Yojana Chinnappa and Saurav Ghoshal are associated to which sports? So both are associated to squash, and recently Senior National Squash Championship held in Chennai in Tamil Nadu, and in this championship Yojana Chinnappa won the women's title while Saurav Ghoshal won the men's title. Which city was the host to India-Bangladesh Sampriti joint military exercise? So this joint military exercise held in Umroi in Meghalaya, and this is a joint military exercise between the armies of India and Bangladesh. Now this exercise held in Meghalaya, and Meghalaya is the part of 6th schedule of Indian Constitution. As of 2020, which is the only Bollywood movie to win 13 Filmfare Awards? So this movie is Gully Boy, and recently the Filmfare Awards held in Guwahati in Assam, and during this Filmfare Award, Gully Boy created a history by winning 13 awards. The film won in all 13 categories in which it was nominated. What is the theme of Telangana's Biotechnology and Life Sciences Forum BioAsia 2020? So the theme was Today for Tomorrow, and this is Asia's largest biotechnology and life sciences forum, and this held in Hyderabad. Appreciate and Commend is a scheme of which state which aims to honor the outstanding police officers? So this is an initiative of Punjab Police Department, and the objective here is to honor the police officers who perform their duty diligently. Which city plays the host to Gulf Food 2020, the world's largest annual food and beverage trade exhibition? So Dubai is the host, and the Indian pavilion at this exhibition was recently inaugurated by Union Minister of Food Processing Ms. Harsimrat Kaur Badal.
Bhavna Jat, who was seen in news recently, is associated to which sports? So C is from Rajasthan and C is associated to race walking. C was in news recently as she qualified for Tokyo Olympic Games in 20-kilometer race walk event. Which Indian firm recently got approval from NCLAT to acquire the Bhushan Power and Steel Limited? So NCLAT stands for National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, and recently NCLAT gave approval to the JSW Steel to acquire the Bhushan Steel Limited. So JSW Steel is going to acquire Bhushan Power and Steel Limited, and recently Zomato acquired Uber Eats in all-stock transaction. Which country assumed presidency of UN body Convention on Migratory Species for next 3 years? So recently the COP, that is Conference of Parties of CMS, that means Convention on Migratory Species, held in Gandhinagar in Gujarat, and for this COP 13th, Great Indian Bustard was the mascot. The Supreme Court recently granted permanent commission to which section of officers in Indian Army? Right answer is women officers. Actually, in 2010, Delhi High Court ordered the Indian government to provide a permanent commission to women officers of Indian Army. Which Indian chess player recently won the Cannes Cup chess tournament? So recently, Konneru Hampi clinched this tournament, and she is an Indian chess grandmaster and current world rapid chess champion. James Duckworth, who won the men's single title at Bengaluru Open ATP Tennis Challenger, is from which country? So James Duckworth from Australia won the men's single title in this Bengaluru Open ATP Tennis Challenger tournament. South Bronx United, which was seen in news recently, is an organization associated to which field? So it is associated to social service, and recently it was in news as it was selected for the 2020 Laureus Sport for Good Award. ERONET, which was in news recently, is a portal of which organization of India? So recently, 23rd National Conference on E-Governance held in Mumbai, and during this conference, this ERONET portal of Election Commission of India was given Silver Award for Excellence in Government Process Reengineering for Digital Transformation. Who was recently named as the nominee for the proposed Delimitation Commission for Jammu and Kashmir? So recently, Mr. Sushil Chandra has been named as the nominee for the Delimitation Commission. Now, it should be noted that the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act provides that the number of legislative assembly seats in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir should be increased from 107 to 114. The first bird ringing station of the country is to be built in which state or Union Territory? So it will be built in Bihar. It should be noted that recently a Memorandum of Understanding was signed between Bihar government and Bombay Natural History Society, and this MOU was signed during COP13 of CMS. CMS stands for Convention on Migratory Species, and the 13th Conference of Parties of CMS held in Gujarat, and during this conference, this Memorandum of Understanding was signed. Which taxi startup recently integrated with the Himmat application of Delhi Police? So recently, Uber announced that it is going to integrate its data with the Himmat application of Delhi Police. Now, as per this integration, the Uber and Delhi Police distributed Himmat QR codes to the drivers. Now, the passenger can scan this QR code and can directly report to Delhi Police in case of any wrongdoing by the driver of that particular Uber cab. Which global financial institution is set to grant
$450 million loan to India for Atal Bhujal Yojana. So it is World Bank. It should be noted that this Atal Bhujal Yojana is to conserve the groundwater depletion, and this scheme is to be implemented by the Jal Shakti Ministry. Who is the head of high-level expert group on farm exports that was recently set up by the 15th Finance Commission? So the chairman of ITC, Mr. Sanjeev Puri, is going to be the head of this high-level expert group on farm exports, and this was recently set up by the Finance Commission, and this committee or this high-level expert group will suggest performance-based incentives to the state governments to boost the agri exports. Which organization has recently initiated the process of capturing district-wise data on origin of export goods? So recently CBIC, that is Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, started to capture the district-wise data to track the origin of export goods, and this information will provide a comprehensive data about the importance of each district from the export point of view. As per the recent report of World Population Review, what is the rank of India in the largest economy of the world list? So this World Population Review is a US based think tank, and recently it released a report, and as per that, India is the 5th largest economy. It should be noted that USA is the largest economy in terms of GDP, China is 2nd, Japan is on 3rd position, and Germany is on 4th position, and India is on 5th position. Which city plays host to the 3rd Global Ministerial Conference on Road Safety? So this city is Stockholm, and Stockholm is in Sweden. This Helsinki is the capital of Finland, Warsaw is the capital of Poland, and Oslo is the capital of Norway. What is the name of storm which hit the UK in February 2020? The name of this storm is Dennis, and it caused flood and heavy winds across the country. It should be noted that the storm also hit some parts of France. Now, if we talk about UK, recently UK was in news as UK donated £20 million for developing vaccine to combat coronavirus, which is the first Arab country which is set to operate a nuclear power plant. So UAE is the first Arab country to set first ever nuclear power plant in the Arab region, and the name of this power plant is Baraka. Now UAE was also in news as the first graduate level artificial intelligence university is going to be in UAE, and the name of this university is MBZ UAI. This stands for Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence. As of February 2020, which Indian company topped the domestic market capitalization chart? So this company is Reliance, and it has topped the domestic market capitalization chart, and Reliance is followed by TCS, SDFC Bank, and Hindustan Unilever Limited. What is the theme of Tokyo 2020 Olympics and Paralympics? So the theme is United by Emotion. Tokyo is in Japan, and Tokyo is the host of this year's Summer Olympic Games, and the opening ceremony of Tokyo Olympic Games is scheduled to be on July 24. Microsoft is set to launch its 3rd India Development Center in which city? So it will be in Noida. The first 2 India Development Centers are in Bengaluru and in Hyderabad. Which state recently passed a bill to identify socially and economically backward classes on the basis of socio-educational status? So this state is Odisha, and recently it passed a bill for the identification of socially and educationally backward classes on the basis of socio-educational status. Which Indian recently won the Laurea's Best Sporting Moment Award? So when India won the final match in World Cup in cricket, Mr. Sachin Tendulkar was lifted by the teammates as a mark of honor, and this was named as the best sporting moment in the last 20 years. Which Indian state or union territory is the first to enforce Performance Regulation Act for its power department? So it is Uttar Pradesh. So as per this notification, the customer will get the financial compensation for delay in solving their grievances. Which Indian recently reached the 50 million followers mark on Instagram? So Mr. Virat Kohli became the first Indian to reach the 50 million followers mark on Instagram. Globally, Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo has the maximum number of followers on Instagram. He is followed by more than 200 million users. What is the name of fourth warship delivered by GRSC to Indian Navy? So recently, GRSC, that is Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers, delivered anti-submarine warfare corvette to Indian Navy, and the name of this is INS Kavrati. The Task Force on Blue Economy for Sustainable Development is a collaboration between India and which country? Now first thing first, what is the meaning of this term blue economy? Blue economy means sustainable use of ocean resources. Now coming back to question, so it is a collaboration between India and Norway, and recently Minister of Earth Sciences Dr. Harshvardhan inaugurated the event along with Norway's Minister for Climate and Environment. Berlinale is the 17th edition of which famous festival which is set to be inaugurated in Germany? So it is a film festival that is to be organized in Berlin in Germany, and the Indian Pavilion is going to be inaugurated by our Minister of External Affairs Mr. S. Jaishankar. He is member of Rajya Sabha from Gujarat. Which state government has recently launched a scheme named Nadu Nedu for modernizing hospitals? So this is a scheme by state government of Andhra Pradesh. Now one thing that should be noted, that a similar scheme was also launched by the state government for the modernization of schools, and now this time it is for the modernization of hospitals. Which country is set to host the men's edition of the Junior Hockey World Cup 2021? So India is going to be the host of 2021 Junior Hockey World Cup, and it should be noted that India is going to be the host of men's event while the Women's Junior World Cup is going to be in South Africa. IDSA, that is Institute for Defense Studies and Analysis, was recently renamed after which former union minister? So it was renamed after Mr. Manohar Parrikar. It should be noted that IDSA is a New Delhi based think tank. As per the State of India's Birds Report 2020, which bird species showed a big increase in population? So recently, this State of India's Birds Report was released during COP13 of CMS, that is 13th Conference of Parties of Convention on Migratory Species, and this convention held in Gujarat in Gandhinagar. What is the name of exhibition organized by the Ministry of Textiles for the promotion of geographical indication crafts? So the name of this event is Kala Kumbh, and recently this event was organized in Bengaluru and Mumbai, and this is an initiative by the Ministry of Textiles for the promotion of GI craft. The present Minister of Textiles is Ms. Smriti Irani. According to the latest government data, India is set to harvest a record production of 106.21 million ton of which Rabi crop in 2019-20? Right answer is wheat. So as per the data by Ministry of Agriculture, the total food grain production is 291.95 million ton. And as per this estimation, India is set to harvest a wheat production of 106.21 million ton. Soil Health Card scheme was launched in which year? So the scheme was launched in 2015 and it was launched on 19th of February. So that is why this day is observed as Soil Health Card Day. And the objective of this scheme is to issue soil health cards to all farmers every 2 years. S. Bandyopadhyay was recently appointed as the chairman of which Indian statutory body? So Mr. Bandyopadhyay was recently appointed as the chairman of PFRDA, that is Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. Women entrepreneurship in India, providing the economy with her, is a report released by which technological company? So it is a report by Google, and as per the report, women entrepreneurs in India can generate 150 to 170 million jobs by 2030. Who has recently been re-elected as the President of Afghanistan? So Mr. Ashraf Ghani was recently re-elected as the President of Afghanistan. Actually, the Election Commission of Afghanistan announced the result of elections that held in September 2019. And as per these elections, Mr. Ashraf Ghani has been declared as the winner. RAD-2, which was tested recently, is a nuclear-capable cruise missile of which country? So it is a cruise missile of Pakistan. Recently, Pakistan was also in news as it declared emergency because of locust invasion. Locust is an invasive species that destroy the crops. Greco-Roman is a term associated with which sports? So it is associated with wrestling, and recently this term was in news because Indian wrestler Mr. Sunil Kumar became the first Indian in 27 years to win a gold medal in Greco-Roman wrestling, and he won the gold medal at Asian Wrestling Championship, and this championship held in New Delhi. Who is the first team player to win L'Oreal's World Sportsman of the Year award? So recently this award was jointly backed by Mr. Lewis Hamilton and Mr. Lionel Messi, and Messi became the first team player to win this award. Which social network company recently acquired the Chroma Labs, known for its Chroma Stories app? So recently Twitter acquired it, and this Chroma Labs was founded by the employees of Facebook and Instagram, and this developed tools for short video and creation of photos. Valvergia bartholomew, which was seen in news recently, belongs to which species? So it is a lizard species, and recently it was in news because of research in Harvard University. Leo Varadkar, who recently tendered his resignation, was the Prime Minister of which country? So Mr. Leo was the Prime Minister of Ireland, and recently he submitted his resignation. Now Ireland was also in news as recently it became the second country to declare climate emergency. Which state government has ordered destruction of breeding centers of Thai mangur fish? So right answer is Maharashtra. So the state government of Maharashtra has ordered the destruction of breeding centers of Thai mangur fish. Actually, this fish is cultivated in highly unhygienic conditions. Atal Kisan Mazdoor Canteens scheme is associated with which state? So this scheme was announced by the state government of Haryana, and the objective of this scheme is to provide affordable meals to the farmers and to the laborers at ₹10 per plate. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Rural Mission is implemented by which ministry? So it is implemented by MORD, that is Ministry of Rural Development. Actually, this scheme was launched on 21st of February in 2016, and recently it completed 4 years, so that is why this scheme was in news. And the objective of this particular scheme is to create rural clusters to stimulate the local economic growth. Viewpoints, which was recently in news, is an application of which major technological company? So it is an application of Facebook, and it asks user to participate in survey and then reward the users based on their participation. Now recently it was in news because Facebook has announced that it is going to financially reward those users who are going to agree to record their voice to improvise the speech recognition technology of Facebook. Now, because of this Viewpoints was in news, and it is an entity of Facebook. Which state or union territory was the host of National Organic Food Festival? So this food festival held in New Delhi. India is set to provide grant to which country for the upgradation of plantation schools for Indian origin estate workers? So this country is Sri Lanka, and recently both India and Sri Lanka signed a Memorandum of Understanding for the upgradation of infrastructure in plantation schools. Thal Sena Bhavan, which was seen in news recently, is to be built in which state or union territory? So right answer is New Delhi, and recently Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh laid the foundation stone for this Thal Sena Bhavan, and it is going to be the army headquarters. Now, if we talk about Mr. Rajnath Singh, he is our present Defense Minister. Recently, Defense Ministry was in news as a new department was created in Defense Ministry, and the name of this new department is Department of Military Affairs. And the newly created CDS post, that means Chief of Defense Staff, is going to be the head of DMA. And recently, General Bipin Rawat was appointed as the first CDS of India. India's first floating jetty has been inaugurated in which state or union territory? So, right answer is Goa. And this India's first floating jetty has been inaugurated in Panji in Goa on the banks of Mandovi River. Which Indian was recently appointed as the new chairman of US-India Business Council? So, Mr. Vijay Advani has been appointed as the new chairman of Global Board of Directors of US-India Business Council. Now, US President Mr. Donald Trump is on his visit to India, and for his visit, the Namaste Trump event was organized, and this was organized in the Motera Stadium of Ahmedabad, and the formal name of this stadium is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Stadium, and this Motera Stadium is the world's largest cricket stadium. Ahmedabad is in Gujarat. Ask Disa is an online chatbot of which Indian organization? So, it is a chatbot of IRCTC, and it was in news recently as IRCTC has upgraded the chatbot so that it can converse in Hindi language also. Which team bagged the 9th National Ice Hockey Championship 2020 title? So, Indian Army Red is the winner of 9th National Ice Hockey Championship. Who is the first cricketer to play 100 matches in all three formats of cricket? That means Test, One-Day International matches and T20 matches. So, he is Mr. Ross Taylor. He is the cricketer of New Zealand. Sonbhadra, which was in news recently because of gold news, is located in which state of India? So, it is located in Uttar Pradesh, and it is the only district in India which shares border boundary with 4 states. Which is the first Indian airport to launch an exclusive terminal for processing and storage of agro and pharma products? So this airport is CST, that is Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport in Mumbai. Which country is set to sign a deal with Taliban for reduction in violence across Afghanistan? So recently it was in news that USA is going to sign a deal with Taliban on 29th of February in Doha. Doha is in Qatar, and Qatar is going to be the host of 2022 FIFA World Cup. Which state is the host of first ever Khelo India University Games? So, Odisha is the host, and recently this event was inaugurated by the Prime Minister through video conferencing. And this Khelo India University Games is an initiative to promote sports, and recently Khelo India Youth Games held in Assam. According to recent survey of National Institute of Nutrition, which metro city has the highest added fat consumption levels? So this is Delhi, and as per this survey, Delhi topped the 7 metro cities in terms of fat consumption levels. As of February 2020, which country is India's top trading partner? So, USA has surpassed China to become India's top trading partner. Now, it should be noted that India-US bilateral trade during the 2018-19 fiscal was $88 billion, while with China, it was $87.1 billion. What was the overall rank of India in Asian Wrestling Championship that recently held in New Delhi? So this championship held in New Delhi in India, and one thing that should be noted that China was barred from entering into the competition because of coronavirus outbreak. So the top performers in this event are Japan, Iran, India and Kazakhstan. So India is on third position. Now it should be noted that Japan won the 8 gold medals while India won 5 gold medals and total medal tally of India was 20. Which city has recently hosted International Judicial Conference? So this conference recently held in New Delhi, and this conference was organized by the Supreme Court of India, and the theme of this conference was Judiciary and the Changing World. Present Chief Justice of India is Justice S.A. Bobde. What is the upper land holding limit to become eligible for the financial support under PM Kisan scheme? So this PM Kisan scheme is a central sector scheme. There are two types of schemes. One is central sector scheme and another one is central sponsored scheme. In central sponsored scheme, the funding is shared by the central and state, while in case of central sector scheme, the funding is provided by the central government. For this PM Kisan scheme, central government is providing 100% funding, and the full form of PM Kisan is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. Under the scheme, an income support of ₹6,000 per year is provided to the farmer families across the country, and this is provided in 3 installments. So this 6,000 is provided into 3 installments. Now initially the scheme was to support small and marginal farmers who have cultivable land up to 2 hectares. However, later this land limit was removed, and now all the farmer families are eligible for this scheme irrespective of the size of their land holding. So right answer is there is no limit. NRI Sabha, which was recently making news, is an NGO controlled by which state government? So this is an NGO which is controlled by the state government of Punjab, and recently it was in news as after the 5 years the elections to the post of President of NRI Sabha is to be held. What is Ethnologue? That was in news recently. So Ethnologue is a database of languages, and recently 23rd edition of Ethnologue was released on the International Mother Language Day. So this International Mother Language Day is celebrated on 21st of February. The Ujjayanta Palace, which recently hosted the first ever Bharat Bangla Prayatan Utsav, is located in which state of India? So this Bharat Bangla Prayatan Utsav was celebrated to commemorate the contributions of Tripura in Bangladesh Liberation War. So right answer is Tripura. For how many years the Law Commission of India works from the date of publication of order in Official Gazette? Right answer is 3 years. It should be noted that Law Commission is not a statutory body. Neither it is mentioned in Constitution. Therefore, it is neither a statutory body nor a constitutional body. The Carnival of Alast that was recently making news is associated to which country? So this event is associated to Belgium, and it should be noted that formerly it was recognized by UNESCO. However, because of some controversy, in December 2019 UNESCO withdrew its recognition for this carnival. Crops loans up to what limit have been waived off by the Mahatma Jyotirao Phule Karz Mukti Yojana of Maharashtra government? So As per this scheme of Maharashtra government, the crops loans up to rupee 2 lakhs have been waived off. Now Maharashtra was also in news as recently state government announced that Bharosa Center would be launched in the state of Maharashtra to monitor the impact of social media on youth. As of 2020, which country is the largest exporter of cashew in world? Right answer is Vietnam. So Vietnam is the largest cashew exporter of world and it mostly export cheap cashew to China and therefore it gives stiff competition to India. Who was the first US president to visit India? Right answer is D.D. Eisenhower. So he was the first president to visit India and he visited India in 1959. Now, if we talk about US President Mr. Donald Trump is in India. US was also in news as recently US launched US Space Force. The East-West Industrial Corridor Road, which was recently in news as it is passing through Pake Tiger Reserve, is located in which state? So it is located in Arunachal Pradesh. Now this is our Northeast India and here you can see the Pake Tiger Reserve. So this East-West Industrial Corridor Road is proposed to connect the foothill districts of Arunachal Pradesh without passing through Assam, and this road will pass through the Pake Tiger Reserve. The Rushikulia river that was in news recently flows in which state of India? So it is in Odisha and this is a well-known site for the nesting of olive ridley sea turtles. Malai Mahadeshwar Wildlife Sanctuary is in which state of India? So it is in Karnataka and it is in news because it is expected to be the Tiger Reserve. Karnataka was also in news as it is the top performing state as per Niti Aayog's India Innovation Index. The Consumer Protection Act of 2019, which is to come into force from April 2020, makes provisions related to class action suits. Now, this suit can be invoked to, right answer is, to recall an entire batch of faulty products. Now, before this option, let me just give you a brief background about this entire topic. Suppose you purchased a mobile from a mobile company A. Now, the mobile is defective, means there is some problem with mobile. Because of this Consumer Protection Act of 2019, you can file a class action suit against the mobile manufacturing company. And if this is justified, the mobile manufacturing company will have to recall the entire batch of that faulty product based on one complaint. That means they will have to recall all the mobile phones which were produced together because of one single complaint. After initially dropping shooting and archery from Commonwealth Games 2022, it has been recently decided that these two sports will be included and it will be organized and funded in India as a part of Birmingham Commonwealth Games. Now, the question is, what is the venue of these two sports in India? So the background story is that for 2022 Commonwealth Games, it was decided that archery and shooting will not be included in 2022 Commonwealth Games. India opposed this decision because India has a good record in these two events. Therefore, India opposed this decision, and now because of India's opposition, the Commonwealth Games Federation recently gave approval to include these sports for 2022 Commonwealth Games. And now these two sports events will be organized in India in Chandigarh, and the medals won will be added to the final tally of participating nations at Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. In which city India's Central Vista project that was recently in news is coming up? So it is in New Delhi and it is a plan that includes setting up new parliament building. If we talk about Parliament of India, it was designed by the British architects Sir Edwin Lutyens and Sir Herbert Baker. Which of the following country has been recently listed in grey list of FATF? FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force, and this country is Mauritius. So now Mauritius has been listed in grey list of FATF. Now what is the meaning of this action? It means that now Mauritius will be under close monitoring. Who heads the IRDAI committee looking into the issue of indemnity-based health insurance products for life insurance companies? So recently, insurance sector regulator constituted a committee, and this committee is headed by Mr. M.R. Kumar. Mr. Kumar is the chairman of LIC. LIC stands for Life Insurance Corporation. The proposed Santust app is for the beneficiaries of which scheme? So this is an initiative of Labour Ministry to address the issues of beneficiaries of employees state insurance scheme. So this is an initiative of Labour Ministry. Now in the context of labor, there is an international organization, and the name of organization is ILO, that is International Labour Organization. Which of the following oil companies was making news recently for its abandonment of proposed drilling in the Great Australian Bight? Right answer is Equinor. So recently, Equinor oil company was in news because of its decision to abandon the proposed drilling in Australia. The Huddle is an annual conclave organized by which newspaper? So it is organized by The Hindu newspaper. And recently it was in news because President Mr. Ramnath Kovind addressed the 4th edition of The Huddle. Now if we talk about The Hindu, recently the chairman of The Hindu group, Mr. N. Ram, was selected as the outstanding media person in National Award, and this award was instituted by Kerala Media Academy. Who has been awarded Best Actor Award in the Dada Sahab Phalke International Film Festival Awards? So, Mr. Hrithik Roshan was awarded the Best Actor Award for his film Super 30. The Super 30 was selected as the Best Film also, and Ms. Diya Mirza was honored with the Best Actress Award for a web series, and the name of this web series is Kafir. Which city is the venue of first National Conference on the Coastal Disaster Risk Reduction and Resilience? So this conference held in New Delhi, and this conference was organized by NIDM. NIDM stands for National Institute of Disaster Management, and for disaster we have NDRF, that is National Disaster Response Force. Where is the National Cyber Research, Innovation and Capacity Center located? So this center was recently inaugurated by the Minister of State for Home Affairs, Mr. G. Krishan Reddy, and this center was inaugurated in Hyderabad, and it is one of the center under I4C. I4C stands for Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. Which is the first state in our country to launch the Unified Vehicle Registration Card? So recently, Madhya Pradesh became the first state in our country to launch Unified Vehicle Registration Card. Madhya Pradesh is the second state to launch a Unified Driving License. Uttar Pradesh is the first state to issue such Unified Driving License, while Madhya Pradesh is the second state. The Tibetan are celebrating Losar festival to welcome the new year 2147. So question is, what is the animal of this new year? So right answer is rat. Rat is the animal of this year, and this Losar festival is celebrated in Tibet. Answer in comment box. This Nagoba Jatra festival is celebrated in which state of India? Which city is the venue of first ever Khelo India Winter Games? So these are going to be in Leh. If we talk about Khelo India Youth Games, recently these games held in Assam, and Maharashtra won the maximum number of medals, while Haryana was on second position and Delhi was on third position. Which of the following bodies had established the Vishwakarma Awards to promote innovative spirit and scientific temperament? So these awards are instituted by AICTE, that is All India Council for Technical Education, and the idea behind these awards is to promote innovative spirit and scientific temperament. The full form of AICTE is All India Council for Technical Education. The Jagananna Vasati Devna scheme that was recently in news is a scheme of which state government? So it is a scheme of Andhra Pradesh government, and recently it was launched by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Mr. Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy. As of 2020, the largest cricket stadium of the world is located in which country? So it is located in India, and it is Sardar Patel Stadium in Ahmedabad in Gujarat. And recently it was in news because the Namaste Trump event was organized here. What was this Namaste Trump? Actually, US President Mr. Donald Trump was on his official visit to India, and for him this event was organized. Which country organized a training course on the vessel search technique for Indian Coast Guard and Custom personnel, Chennai? So this was organized by the Australian Border Force, and this event was organized to provide a training course on vessel search technique, and Indian Coast Guard organized this training course in Chennai in Tamil Nadu along with Australian Border Force. Which city hosted the 4-day international conference on banana, which was organized by ICAR? So this conference was organized in Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu, and it was organized by ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. Which Indian PSU is set to acquire the government's entire stake in THDC India and Northeastern Electric Power Corporation Limited? So recently CCI, that is Competition Commission of India, permitted NTPC to acquire the government's entire stakes in THDC and in Northeastern Electric Power Corporation Limited. Now, if we talk about NTPC, recently annual Public Enterprise Survey was in news, and as per this survey, ONGC, Indian Oil Corporation and NTPC are top 3 profit-making PSUs of India, while as per the survey, BSNL, Air India and MTNL are top 3 loss-making PSUs. 5G Hackathon was recently launched by which Union Ministry or organization? So it was organized by Ministry of Communication. Actually DOT, that is Department of Telecommunication under Ministry of Communication, recently launched this 5G Hackathon. So the idea behind this initiative is to provide a platform to the people where they can present their ideas about 5G. Which is the only Indian company to feature in the Fortune's top 20 big companies to work for list? So recently, Great Place to Work, this organization conducted a survey that which are the top companies to work for, and as per this survey, TCS is the only Indian company to feature in the top 20 big companies to work for. The 2 species of birds, red-throated thrush and Plumbeous water redstart, were recently found in which state or union territory? So these species were found in Ladakh. Actually recently the bird count exercise was carried out in Ladakh, and after this exercise these 2 species were found for the first time in Ladakh. Which city was the venue of Microsoft Future Decoded CEO Summit? So this event held in Mumbai, and Microsoft CEO Mr. Satya Nadella participated in this event. Now, Microsoft was also in news as recently it launched Edge Chromium browser. Microsoft was also in news as recently company announced that it is going to set up its 3rd IDC in India. IDC stands for India Development Center. Abhay Kumar Singh has been appointed as the chairman and MD of which Indian PSU? So Mr. Abhay Kumar Singh has been appointed as the chairman and MD of NHPC, that is National Hydroelectric Power Corporation, and it was founded in 1975. The headquarters of NHPC is in Faridabad, and Faridabad is in Haryana. The first anniversary of launch of which welfare scheme was observed on February 24th. So this scheme is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, and this scheme was launched by the Prime Minister of India in 2019 on 24th of February, and the scheme was launched in Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh. So recently it was in news because it completed 1 year. The finance ministers and central bank governors of G20 nations meeting was recently organized in which city? So this was organized in Riyadh. Riyadh is the capital of Saudi Arabia. Which cricketer is to be conferred with the honorary citizenship by the Pakistan government? So recently PCB, that is Pakistan Cricket Board, announced that the government would confer honorary citizenship on former West Indies cricket team captain Mr. Darren Sammy. He will also be presented with the Pakistan's highest civilian award, Nishan-e-Haider. It should be noted that Darren Sammy has been associated with the Pakistan Super League, that is PSL. Which smartphone maker launched the first 5G enabled smartphone of India? So this was launched by Realme. This is the first 5G enabled smartphone of our country, and the smartphone was simultaneously launched in Spain also. It should be noted that 5G is not completely available in our country as of now. Therefore, these phones can still be used in 4G mode till 5G is introduced. On which date the Central Excise Day is celebrated every year? So it is celebrated on 24th of February. Mahathir Mohamad, who recently resigned, was the Prime Minister of which country? So he was the Prime Minister of Malaysia and recently he resigned. Ashok Chatterjee, who passed away recently, was associated to which field? So he was associated to sports and he was a well-known Indian footballer. Faure Gnassingbé has been re-elected as the president of which country for the 4th term? So he has been elected as the president of Togo. Togo is a West African country and the capital of Togo is Lomé. Now if we talk about Africa, recently African Union Summit held in Ethiopia in Addis Ababa. India is set to buy the Sikorsky Romeo helicopters from which country? Right answer is USA. So recently, during this official visit of Mr. Donald Trump to India, this deal was in news, and this deal includes 24 MH-60 Romeo helicopters and 6 Apache attack helicopters. Which Indian Grandmaster recently won the Cannes Open Chess Tournament? So recently, Mr. D. Gukesh won this chess tournament and he is the world's second youngest Grandmaster. He is 13 years old and this Cannes is in France. And recently France was in news as it was the host of G7 Summit in 2019. This year, USA is the host of G7 Summit. Sharth Kamal and G SATHI duo who were making news is associated to which sports? So they are associated to table tennis and recently they won the silver medal at the ITTF World Tour Hungarian Open. The capital of Hungary is Budapest. Which aircraft carrier launched freight services to assist shrimp farmers? So freight services means goods, that means items that are transported in bulk. So recently SpiceJet launched freight services from Chennai to Vishakhapatnam. SpiceJet launched freight services from Chennai and Vishakhapatnam to Surat and Kolkata to assist the transportation of shrimp seeds. It should be noted that the cargo arm of SpiceJet is known as Spice Express. Cargo means luggage. So the SpiceJet is for passengers and this Spice Express is for luggage. Bob Iger, who recently tendered his resignation, was the CEO of which global firm for 15 years. So he was the CEO of Walt Disney Company and recently he was in news because he announced his resignation. Now this Walt Disney is American multinational mass media company and the headquarters of Walt Disney is in California, and recently California was in news as San Francisco declared emergency because of coronavirus. As of 2020, what is the foreign direct investment limit that is allowed in the insurance intermediaries? So DPIIT, that is Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, recently notified that 100% of FDI is allowed in insurance intermediaries. Previously, As per the FDI policy, 49% of the foreign investment was allowed, but now it is 100%. What is the name of new satellite scheduled to be launched by ISRO on 5th of March? So this is GISat-1, and GI stands for Geo Imaging Satellite, and it will be launched by ISRO. Now it should be noted that this GISat-1 is a world-class Earth observation satellite. Hosni Mubarak, who passed away recently, was the former president of which country? So he was the president of Egypt, and he passed away recently. He assumed the power as a president of Egypt after the assassination of Mr. Anwar Sadat, who was the former president of Egypt. Now it should be noted, Mr. Hosni Mubarak was forced to step down in 2011 after Arab Spring. As per the new agreement signed by the Container Corporation of India and RZD Logistic JSC, that means with the Russian railways, cargoes are to be transported through which country? So recently, this agreement was signed for transporting cargo between India and Russia, and the containers will move between two countries using INSTC, that is International North-South Transport Corridor, and this corridor passes through Iran and Azerbaijan. Suella Braverman, an Indian origin minister, recently sworn in as the Attorney General of which country? So she was recently appointed as the Attorney General of UK. She is of Indian origin. Now if we talk about UK, the Prime Minister is Mr. Boris Johnson, and recently Mr. Rishi Sunak, who is also of Indian origin, Mr. Rishi Sunak was appointed as the Finance Minister of UK. Which country is the first to develop an antibody test to identify the COVID-19, that is to identify the disease because of coronavirus? So this country is Singapore. Now if we talk about this coronavirus, it was first detected in Wuhan in China. As per the recent Hurun Global Rich List 2020, which country has the highest number of billionaires? Right answer is China. So as per this list, China has the highest number of billionaires in the world. And as per this report, the founder and CEO of Amazon, Mr. Jeff Bezos, is on top position. So he is the founder and CEO of Amazon, and recently Amazon was in news because of Project Zero. Higher Education Leadership Development Program for Administrator is a initiative of which Union Ministry? So it is initiative of MHRD, that is Ministry of Human Resource Development, and it is a joint initiative of UGC, that is University Grants Commission, and British Council. The main objective of this program is to train the administrators in Indian universities. Indradhanush is a defense exercise between Air Forces of India and which country? So it is a exercise between Indian Air Force and Royal Air Force of UK, and this exercise is conducted in Uttar Pradesh this year. And the main focus of this year's exercise is base defense and force protection. If we talk about Uttar Pradesh, recently Defense Expo held in Uttar Pradesh. This expo held in Lucknow. The first of its kind summit named RAISE 2020, which was in news recently, is associated to which field? So this is associated to artificial intelligence, and this RAISE stands for Responsible Artificial Intelligence for Social Empowerment, and this event is going to be in New Delhi, and this is first artificial intelligence summit to be organized by the government in participation with the industry and academic institutions. Recently, the Union Cabinet conferred occupancy rights to the scheduled tribes population in which Union Territory? So right answer is Lakshadweep, and this amendment was made to confer the occupancy rights to the scheduled tribes population in Union Territory of Lakshadweep. Now Lakshadweep was also in news as recently Good Governance Index was released, and as per this index, Lakshadweep is the worst performing union territory, and this index was launched by Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. EASE 3.0 is an initiative which was in news recently. It is associated to which field? So it is associated to ease of banking. Now the full form of this EASE stands for Enhanced Access and Service Excellence, and this initiative aims to enhance the ease of banking in customer experience using information technology. What is the outlay of National Technical Textiles Mission that was recently approved by CCEA, that is Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs? So the total outlay was 1480 crore, and this mission will have a 4-year implementation period, that means from 2020 to 2024, and the objective of this mission is to enhance the export of textiles. Market Intelligence and Early Warning System portal monitors the price of which commodity? So it monitors the price of TOP, that is tomato, onion, potato. And recently the Union Minister of Food Processing and Industries, Harsimrat Kaur Badal, launched this Market Intelligence and Early Warning System web portal. Which country recently withdrew from the United Nations Human Rights Council resolution on post-war accountability? So this country is Sri Lanka. Actually in 2015, the UNHRC adopted a resolution asking Sri Lanka to probe the allegations of human rights violations during the civil war in Sri Lanka. Tennis star Maria Sharapova, who recently retired from the sports, is associated to which country? So she is from Russia, and she recently announced her retirement from tennis. Which Indian public sector bank launched Startup Banking Initiative? So this is an initiative of Bank of Baroda, and this initiative is launched to connect with the startup firms in our country. Now for startups, there is a scheme, Startup India. It is a scheme of Commerce Ministry, which shipbuilding firm built the offshore patrol vessel of Coast Guard Yard Vajra that was launched recently. So it was built by L&T, that is Larsen & Toubro, and recently Union Minister of State for Shipping, Mr. Mansukh Mandavia, launched this offshore patrol vessel Vajra. So these were the most important questions of February 2020. If you appreciate our efforts, please share this video. Thank you, and that's all for the day.